free love is always the greatest challenge to explain. But only because of how mired we already are in capitalist thought. It is as though the idea of freedom is itself anathema to our understanding. Of course it is. In the capitalist world, nothing is free. How can there be freedom? The idea that we could be happy if we simply gave of ourselves freely and without reservation is so far from our understanding. We cannot understand it. And yet it underpins everything in the movement. Sasha, you remember when we were at that anarchist conference in Holland? Many said that only pure individualism was at the root of anarchy, that organization could only come at the expense of individual liberty. But there it is again, the expense. Anarchism is not the childish rejection of authority. It is not a teenager who, seeing the state as a de facto parent, simply rebels. It is an organization of grown adults who recognize their mutual responsibility to one another. Like the living cells of an organism, each one dependent on the next for its survival, each one providing the next with the means for its survival, all for the good of the larger whole. An organization in this sense could not come from people stripped of individuality, from non-entities. It must come from thinking, responsible individualities. Anarchism is this organization. And love is the connective tissue that holds it together. Would we say that the life of our bodies comes at the expense of our individual cells? That our heart or lungs ought to pay for the privilege of being part of our bodies? The very idea is absurd. And yet the poison that is capitalist thought, that cannot see anything as given freely, infects us so deeply that when confronted with the idea, we cannot even perceive it. Free love is not about getting what you want. It is about giving what you have. And it doesn't matter how you act. You could love and be with one person. You could love and be with 100 people, or with no one. Faithfulness is not about exclusion or ownership. It is about commitment, about responsibility to another person.